Hi guys, welcome to Crime Time, and I'm Alice Neary. I've been asked, have I developed PTSD being a crime scene cleaner for 19 years? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. I've been diagnosed by two separate doctors with PTSD. Just like EMS, police officers, firemen, even nurses and doctors, they get PTSD from the things that they see. You see things that regular people do not see. We see families in distress, uncontrollably crying. Now their loved one is gone and they're just so distraught. It's so painful to watch. And you see the pain of the person that committed suicide as well. You'll see that on scene. And what I mean by that is I've seen where people have tried a few different methods before the final method was successful. And I mean by that is I would go into the scene and he committed suicide by gunshot, but then I would notice, the closet, maybe the closet clothes were pushed to the sides, and you see that belt hanging there. And so you know that obviously they tried to hang themselves, which is an awful method of suicide. You do not pass away right away, and it is absolutely terrible. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of people start to do that and then find another method because it is a horrible way to go. It is not quick by any means. I've seen where they write words all over the walls in that room with their own blood. I've seen where a woman of domestic violence, she was a victim, and her live-in boyfriend was stabbing her, and she left bloody handprints and smears on the wall by the house phone. 15 years ago, maybe a little longer, they had the phones that actually hung on the wall, and you could walk all around with them. And there was blood on the wall by the phone, and you saw her bloody handprints and smears all over the phone and the buttons. And on that scene, he ended up ripping the phone out of the wall, and he ended up, unfortunately, continuing to stab her to death. And then actually he ended up walking around, dragging her for 5 days throughout the house, the same blood pattern. And he did that for 5 days, and then he ended up killing himself. And some of their fellow co-workers were missing them, and so they did a welfare check, and that's how they found them. I've also seen scenes where one in particular, a young lady's baby daddy was attacking the young lady's mother, and the mother retreated to her bedroom and locked the door. The boyfriend just ripped down that door. He busted the door apart, and pieces of the door all over the floor, and he ended up stabbing her to death. And then he decided to bury her in the backyard, started to drag her through the house, and somebody had called 911, and he was actually caught before she was buried. It's terrible, the things that we see. Dealing with children is always difficult. The famous case where I did in Naples, where the father stabbed his 5 young children and his wife to death. And for me, personally, what is most difficult is talking to the families and the friends of the deceased. That is very difficult for me. I lost my mother at age 21 and my father about 20 years ago. And so I really can understand the pain of death, not to their extent, but I can understand. And you become a counselor. Sometimes these families and friends are looking for answers and some guidance. And, so we're helping them. And somehow us crime scene cleaners are supposed to cope with all this. On scene, where we have to stay professional, but still show compassion. And, we see what humans do to one another. It's really horrible. With my corporation, we, if we went out of town, I would rent a hotel room. I would try my darndest to get one with a balcony. My employees and I, we really enjoyed, after a long emotional day of, just sitting out on the balcony and just decompressing. And, we'd be out there smoking our cigarettes and just communicating, talking about what we saw and what we went through and how that made us feel, and all of that. It's such a great way to get that out, because you have to. And who better than the people out on that balcony that were side by side with you that day. It's really healthy to do that. So yes, unfortunately, crime scene cleaners, just like the police officers and everyone else, we do develop PTSD. Now, I'm also, in the very near future, I'm going to have a guest on the show that wants to discuss PTSD and what it does to people that are in our fields. He was, now he's retired, but he was EMS and a fireman, both for over 30 years. And that is extremely impressive. That you don't find that very often. So he's going to come real soon and sit down and talk to us. So keep an eye out for that. And if you like what you see, please push the like button and don't hesitate to subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.